by Lord Hood, Lazarus Clay, and Zeddy.
Episode 56, recorded on November 17th, 2013. Hello everyone, this is Lazarus Clay, and welcome back to the arsenal of podcast where we talk about Spiral Knights. And welcome Snakes, because yeah, he hasn't been here in a while, and Snakes, I cannot even believe I'm saying this after everything that we've playfully insulted you with, but if you want to hop on the cast, I'm inviting you, because I am solo right now, because saying it appears he's asleep, and Lord Hood, it appears his throat is not doing well, so there's no point in him coming to a podcast to talk for an hour. So, it's just me, and anyone else who wants to get involved. I've opened it up to a few different people, actually, through various means. Most of them underhanded. No, I'm just kidding. But to different people to hop on for just a little bit. But, you know, it's what it is. We're here. It's gonna be me. If Zhang wakes up and sees the messages, the trail of messages I've left him, he will join in. If anyone, i.e. Snakes, Maroka, any of the other people want to get in for a little bit, you can totally do that. I do have a lockbox here, and you drop it on the table and it goes thud, and that was probably loud. I apologize. That was not actually a good idea. We've got a Snakes joining us. Possibly. Potentially. Okay, he's fixing his mic. You interrupt me when you're ready, and such. And we will have a good time interrupting each other. Loud noises can kill people. What are you gonna do? The lockbox is open, and there's just a bunch of fiery, burning swamps in there. That's kind of all there is. It's fire, burning, fire, and then also swamps, because apparently we're talking about swamps this episode, which should be fun. There's got a transmutation about swamps, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I was honestly looking forward to talking about it with the other hosts, but oh well. Well, we had to restart the stream, and we got Snakes to join us, so you want to say hi?
Hi, HRPB.
Don't, we're gonna... Should we just call him Herp for the whole entire episode and just make him extremely mad?
No, next 50 episodes we should call him Herp.
Oh, just from now until episode 100?
Well, maybe episode 200 might work.
We should do a Deck the Halls song for Christmas, and instead of having fa la 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 la, just have Herp instead. Something like that. Alright, well, welcome, and you're actually honestly free to stay as long as you like, because much better than me just going alone at this point. But, yes, as I was saying before, I rudely interrupted myself with the stream and technical difficulties. My apologies. It is a Spiral Knights podcast, and we'll try to stick to that as much as possible. So we're talking about the fire stats, and we're talking about, maybe swamps and Spiral Knights, and the implications of that. So, let's start. Zane, how was your week?
So, Medicine, how was your week?
Hood, how was your week? Mission report goes something like this. So, Mission Report is where we talk about what we've been doing in the world of gaming since the last episode. Snakes, have you been playing any Spiral Knights or otherwise, any other games?
Yeah, only a little bit, mostly, because the only things I've been doing is mostly trying to do some bit Firestorm Citadel. That was once or twice this whole week, because I started watching Fullmetal Alchemist, actually. Yeah,
Fullmetal Alchemist or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood?
Well, both of them. I finished the first series the week and a half ago, and then I was just watching the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood right now.
Are you enjoying that?
Kind of. Now it's getting confusing just because they're both of them. Isn't Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood from the manga?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little confused.
Brotherhood's the original one. FMA the original took it. The quote-unquote original, because it's not actually original, it was a second story written later with the same characters in the same world.
Well, But Star Knights. I think the only thing that happened to me is mostly my Battle Sprites eating all my 5-star materials, and now I have to go do 3 more OCH runs because of that.
Is that the way that you're getting guaranteed 5-star materials?
No, it's either I go on OCH or Banner Duke.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. There's a chapeau of the Violet Rose on the auction house right now. The auction house, not the supply depot, the auction house. And I want it, and my birthday's in a month, so you guys should totally figure out how to make that happen.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. And to be clear, I'm mostly kidding on all accounts, except the fact that I really want that chapeau really bad, and specifically the violet color. But that's that. I didn't actually play hardly anything this week. It is funny, though. I told a story a while back about, during Apocria, how I said, I'm going to go farm for elite orbs now, because I need 1 more elite orb of alchemy to get this graviton bomb to a graviton charge to a graviton bomb. So I went to a level, and the first set of, well, it was the second set of prize boxes I opened, and I found my orb. It's like, great. And that's just how it was. And it was, I don't find them usually. It's just when I declared, I am going to farm for orbs, I found it right away. And so this week, I kind of want to get some new gear lines getting going. So I went to the arcade and started looking for 2-star orbs. And what I did was I just started at the top of the arcade with the intent of, I'm going to go from depth 1 to as long as I go and farm for orbs. The first room of prize boxes on depth 1, break it open, and there's a flawed orb of alchemy. 1 star. Which is useless, but I guess it's just kind of interesting. And I didn't find any other orbs the whole time, because obviously my odds were slightly ruined then. But, yeah.
Well, if I can tell about my week, 3 weeks ago, I had the luckiest week ever. Was it right after the Halloween update? And if I did this one single run, I could have got all the weapons, all the Halloween update, the shred of weapons, all at once, because that one single run I did, I actually got 40k off of.
Really?
Yeah, 40k off of it. And then I also, on the end, was Vanaduk, and I had enough to get a weapon. So that was instantly 70k off that. And why did I not do it during the Halloween update?
I don't know. How did you get that many crowns from one run, though?
I really don't know myself.
That seems really ludicrous.
Oh, yeah, and also HRPV invited me into Intense Flames, just like they'll do.
Cool. All right, then. Oh, and I guess we should say this. For people who don't know, I guess, who may not follow the podcast as closely, do you want to say, more specifically who you are and what you do?
Well, I've been very silent. I've usually mostly on helping the noobs out, but now that's been a long time ago. That was 3-4 months ago. And now for the Star Knights podcast, I've mostly been doing transmutations. Though I still don't believe you did the win status and what else? Yeah, mostly I have not been doing. So I need to get back into transmutation sooner or later. I'm not getting any ideas. I need to pop up. So anybody can suggest any ideas. Also, there's one more thing, is that race mode thing. I did not do that. Someone's
wasn't
impersonating. Yeah, someone used. You said it was SnakesS17. Someone impersonated me. I need to kill him.
It's on the forums. Is there a chance that it could have been your brother?
No, he's not here anymore.
Okay, where is
last
that?
5-7 months. I don't know.
I don't. The Great Wind has struck Haven. Or has struck Cradle. I see those. Oh well. That's kind of odd. Alright then. I've also been working on the YouTube kind of thing. That's really all else that I've been doing. And so got some more videos together outside of this Wheel of Misfortune. I think I'm going to change the rules up and do another Wheel of Misfortune run in Tier 3 this time and die. And that should be fun. That's where I If you guys haven't seen it, youtube.com/SKLAY Elite Sklay Elite. That is definitely the place to go and check those out. That's a lot of fun. You roll a dice, and the dice determines your gear, and then you play a couple of levels with that random gear. It's actually kind of fun. It gives me the opportunity to talk about a lot of stuff, and it keeps changing, which is fun. And I did working on songs and things like that. I'm also planning, assuming I have the time this week. If not this week, I will be on holiday next week, and gonna try and get a couple songs out, if not 3, because we've got a bunch of them written. And HRBB says, can you do it with a tier 3 cleared guy so you can continue on? HRBB says that's what I was thinking, but generally I don't have the desire or the time to play for 2 hours straight, which is how long it would take to do all of that rolling. And, a full run in the arcade could take an hour to 90 minutes. That's how long it takes me. I don't know, maybe people are better or worse at it. And of course, that's with me generally full clearing as much as possible. But when I'm running through and, I have like 2 zappers. Didn't that episode come out? I think it did.
Zappers?
No, that's the last episode. Spoiler alert. Yeah, okay. I said that in the wrong order. Spoiler alert, I run 2 zappers. But I could keep going from tier 1 to tier 3. I just don't have the desire or the time to do it. Recording for 2 hours straight like that and just doing the same thing. Not really my thing. I might do from tier 2 to tier 3 at some point on the Snarblack stratum, but that would be it. Kind of just not terribly interested in that. So that
I can tell one thing that I've been doing a lot is, I forgot all about it, Realm of the Mad God. Because I've been listening to your podcast and you said where we should have one group of 18 people on for Realm of the Mad God, and I completely forgot, and I looked on it. I thought it was still for PC, but no, they made it for Mac as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so now I'm happy. So I know I'm just going to wait for that to happen so we can get all 18 people, 18 people to come on.
That would be fun. I actually was talking to Morocco, which is the last thing. I guess I'll talk about this. And I just lost my train of thought. Morocco of Button Mash, who we hosted on the show a couple weeks ago and had his Clockworks for Charity live stream yesterday. Talked to him after the stream about what happens if we got a bunch of us together and the podcast community and the Button Mash community, and we just raided on Realm of the Mad God, and just made a few videos about that, just random joke videos, because as it is, Realm of the Mad God is a free game that you can get on Steam for Windows and Mac, and I don't know if you can get it on Linux, but
no, you can't.
Is not very much unlike Spiral Knights in that it's isometric, kill lots of enemies in a random.
It's kind of like Terraria, except it's it's on a base form where you can see it from bird's eye view.
Yeah, so it's overhead like Spiral Knights, and you fight. That's really the only. And lots of enemies that give you lots of loots. That's really the only thing that's actually the same. But it would be funny, and we're kind of maybe, potentially, possibly considering that at some point. Also, the charity stream. I did hop on there for about 30 minutes in the morning I had just woken up and I had my sleep-laden voice. If you want to, you can go to twitch.tv.com/twit. That was a fail. Twitch.tv/button_mash.com, and it is a VOD. It's a video on demand, so you can check that out if you want to. We did not reach the 500-pound goal, but that's all. Aww. Well, it's not all right. You guys are awful, and that's kind of where I don't want to go. So I want to say it is all right, but it was a good effort, and thanks to Moroka for doing that and all that. It was fun. Got on there. We were gonna do, if we hit 750 pounds, we were gonna do a Clockworks Copycat live, where we both did the same run, but we're planning a bunch of those anyways, so we got a lot of things in the works. Right now, I'm not doing anything right now, but I have multiple boiling cauldrons, and they're about to explode with a bunch of fun stuff. That's all Spiral Knights related, so that should be fun.
I can't wait for Chris when it turns into Winterfest, because I have all these Halloween boxes where I'm just ready to open when it comes to it.
Nice. Yeah, I guess do I talk about this now or later? Let's talk about it later. Okay. We got some news and such to discuss, so let's do that. Overheard at Moorcroft Manor. From the helmet of someone who likes some creature that brawls at a horn to fight with or something like that.
The helmet is supposed to be resembling to a demon called...
This is where we discuss the news and discussion in Spiral Knights, and there is one significant event, and this will last until tomorrow. So if you're listening to this anytime before Monday, 18th of November, apologies that it will not be there for you anymore, but these are the flash sales in the supply depot, so basically things go on sale. Lots of accessories that we don't otherwise see, including leafy auras, extra tall vertical vents, sunshine auras, all sorts of cool things. And I mean, you press K on your keyboard to get to the supply depot. If you want to do something else, you can do that too. And you buy things for large amounts of energy that cause the energy market to skyrocket to 9k per 100 energy overnight, which was dumb. But the energy market is trashed and inflated right now because everyone wants their energy, which is good for the people who have lots of energy and aren't planning to buy the accessories. There were like snipes that you could buy. Like I said, lots of different accessories and lots of fun stuff. Keeps changing, so you want to keep checking in every now and then.
Yeah, right now there's, like, you can buy, like, 3 internal orbs for, like, 720 energy right now on the sale.
All right. Yeah, they have
that.
rarities on there right at different points, too. Now, the question, I suppose, is, but Spiral Knights, why would you do this? What is the point of the flash sales? Do we just want to, like, generate excitement and make people spend money? And I think that's part of it, but I think there's a twofold kind of other side to it too. One being driving people to the supply depot, because the supply depot is kind of trying to establish itself as something more important, which, you know, and so if we drive people to it and say, look, it's a supply depot, use it, then more people will continue to just check it and things like that. So that could potentially be one thing. The other is that, well, Dark Harvest Festival just happened, and Apocria just happened, which means, remember we were talking about how there's arenas and things like that around Apocria, so you run these arenas over and over again, and you get your shining fire crystals that are all over the clockworks, and you heat your 4-star into 5-star, or your 4-star shadow weapons, and get them to obsidians, right? And it's all good. But we didn't, and you also get heat, and it's fine and dandy. There was one thing we didn't account for in that, which is crowns, and there's lots of crowns in the system right now, so the supply depot sales can draw a lot of that money out of the economy. And of course, because I seem to love economy so much with this, talking about it on this podcast, but hey. So what I'm hoping is, after the event is over and people stop needing CE, or energy, I'm going to keep calling it CE from like now till Kingdom Come, because that's what it should be. It should plummet to, my guess would be about 7k, because there's going to be a lot less money in the economy. Because the flash sales, when someone turns all their crowns into energy and puts their energy into the supply depot, that money is gone. It doesn't go to anyone, it just disappears, because, I mean, what are the developers going to do with their pixels? Which is also, by the way, very conceptually kind of silly to think, yes, I'm going to put my money into the hands of Three Rings so that they can give me some intellectual property, which is pixels on a screen. And I will use these pixels, i.e. energy, these numbers on a screen, and give this numbers back to them. These numbers that they just arbitrarily invented, give these numbers back to them, and they can give me a rigged model of, like, super tall bunny ears that I can put on my rigged model that they designed for me. That's what it is. But, you know, we still do it, and we still have a ton of fun with it. So, no complaining there. If you want to, once again, I believe the flash sales run till Monday, on the 18th of November. There will be a link in the show notes, which you can find on our website, which is skeleelite.com/arsenal. And you can see all the links that we talk about on this podcast there. Have you bought anything from the flash sale?
Me?
Snakes?
I think the only thing I might buy right now is mostly the internal orbs, because I still want to buy myself a Sentenza, and then the what was it called? The Cirrus Mask.
All right.
The SnakesS17 Cirrus Mask.
Right. Citrix says, hey, I'll trade you my numbers for your pixels. Also, are you calling me, Citrix, just tell me in the chat, are you calling me to actually get on the cast? Because I'm happy to add you. I just have this request, and I don't know if it was, like, intentional or whatever. And, of course, the other piece of news is the Clockworks for Charity event, which happened, and it was great. For a while it lasted. I'm sorry I couldn't have been around for longer. Chalk was there, Chalk 3, Gameplay Flicks. Blither Paladin was there doing some filming.
I'm sad about Chalk 3. Now it's going to slow down his progress.
Whoop, phooey. Hold on. Gotta come back.
On.
You're gonna have to repeat that. I'm sorry. Zhang called me and I derped on the calling chat thing. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm mostly sad that now that Chalk 3 is slowing down. It was a long update ago. Well, YouTube updated that Chalk 3 is now slowing down his YouTube videos a lot. Like once or two videos in one a month. It's kind of getting sad for fun. I really want to see more of his videos coming out from Let's Play.
Alright, well, spoiler alert, and this is something that I probably shouldn't be talking about, but we are in the works for a bunch of videos, actually, that as collaborative kinds of things between myself and Gameplay Flicks and some of the other YouTubers that are out there that do Spotlight Nights types things, so that should actually be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And that will be coming soon, so pay attention. You can, of course, Chalk, you can check him out at youtube.com/gameplayflix. Maroka is /buttonmashempire, and we are /Sklalete, so totally do that. And now we get to talk about fire. And I suppose we talked about generally statuses last week, and so now we get to get specific with fire. Also, Zhang, are you here?
Is there a sleepyhead?
Yes.
Morning, sunshine.
Huh?
I said morning, sunshine.
Yeah, that. My bad.
No, it's all good.
I know. My alarm obviously was not set to be loud enough.
Sleep is a mandatory human function, so just hang in there and contribute where you'd like. It's all good. So, if I had to rank, fire is my third favorite.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, fire, poison, then shock is my top 3.
I'm exactly backwards. I'm shock, poison. Shock is number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, number 3 is fire, number 2 is poison, number 1 is shock.
Yes. Now, fire is the strongest status for damage over time, and this is not counting attacks. So if I counted just the damage of a frozen enemy versus a fire enemy, burned enemy, versus set on fire enemy versus a shocked enemy, fire does the most damage. So that's worth knowing. Of course, if you're also going to be taking swings at them, then poison's going to be the strongest. But so you guys remember the scale of -6 to 8 that we talked about last time, where you have -6, which is you're fully resistant, and 8 means you're fully vulnerable and going to take tons of damage. Well, how that converts in fire... How that converts in fire is if you have -6, if you're fully resistant to fire, you'll burn for 4 seconds. If you have the +8 fire, i.e. if you're maxed out with chaos, then you will burn for 9 seconds. So it's more than twice as long between the two different sides. There's going to be less math and more conceptual on this one, as HRBB is noting in the chat. Fire does burn at a constant rate, which means you will... the game runs on ticks. Most games run on ticks. It
burns every 1.12 seconds.
Yeah,
that's what I found out.
That sounds about right, actually. It might be a little longer than that. But how long you have the status determines how many ticks you'll take, ranging from 3 to 5. So in the time, the game runs on ticks, right? And there's a set number of ticks because it burns at a constant rate. So you'll take a tick every, is it 1.12 seconds or whatever the time is? I don't actually know. But so within the time it takes to burn for 4 seconds, if you have -6 resistance, which is full resistance, you'll burn for 3 ticks. You'll take 3 hits where you go, ouch, and take some damage. Ouch, and take some damage. Ouch, and take some damage 3 times. If you're at +8, you'll do that. That'll happen 5 times. So there is a difference, and the ticks are what do all the damage. So where you are on that scale of -6 to 8 determines both the duration of the fire, as we just said, and also the damage per tick. So as you go up the scale, each tick starts to do more damage than the previous one. And between numbers on the scale, the fire damage changes by about 1%. So you'll take 1% more damage from a 1 fire than you will from a 0 fire. That's just how it works. And don't forget that you calculate final status strength by taking attack power and subtracting the defense that you have. This is the most mathy that you will get. So you take the attack power, which for most monsters in the Clockworks is +4. Then you subtract your defense. If I'm wearing full Vogue, that's 4 and 4. So 4 minus the 4 and 4, which is 8. 4 minus 8 is -4, which is pretty good resistance. If you're wearing Chaos, which is -2 and -2 is a -4. So if I take a hit from a 4 minus a -4, I'm going to have 8, which is the worst it can be. So that's how that works. Now, okay, I lied about the mathy thing, because to make you stay until this point, I'm just fooling. So you have your base 0, which is nothing. If you add 1 point of resistance to a 0, if you add 1 point of resistance to a 0, which means at where the overall total of the fire you take is -1, then the time is short enough. It shortens the time that you're on fire to 3 seconds from 4 seconds, and that eliminates 1 tick. It eliminates one of the ticks. Instead of taking 4 ticks of damage where you burn 4 times, you only burn 3 times. That reduces the amount of damage you take significantly by anywhere from 12 to 25%. Because you're literally taking 1 less burn of damage. So when you have, let's say, you get attacked by now we'll get into that later. On the other side of it, at a +5 strength. Okay, so this is if you take a +5, which is pretty strong. It's like 2 chaos and more. If the final total is a +5, then the fire does 1 more damage. Instead of burning for 4 seconds, you burn for 5 seconds, which adds a tick. Or instead of burning for, it's not seconds, I'm sorry, for 4 ticks, you burn for 5 ticks, which adds 12 to 25% of damage. So basic fire works around this -1 and this 5. If you're in between them, you take kind of the base fire. If you're below -1, it's significantly less. If it's above +5, it's significantly more. So, what does all of that mean? Well, enemies generally deal +4 status, right? Which means if you have any fire vulnerability on your armor whatsoever, it will add to that number, because it's a +4 status minus your negative status, right? Say chaos. Say 1 piece of chaos. So you have +4 minus -2 is 6. Remember what I said, what the markers are, -1 and 5. You're above 5. You're at 6. Which means you take significantly more damage. Which kind of means, not kind of, it does mean that there's not much difference between wearing 1 piece of chaos or wearing both pieces, because both of them are beyond that +5 mark. That's just how it works. So wearing 1 piece of chaos and thinking, oh, I'll be more fire resistant because I'm at +6 instead of +8, doesn't actually do much. It doesn't mean anything. So
that's exactly what I'm doing. Mostly I'm in Firestorm Citadel. It looks like I'm only taking like 6 seconds of burn damage because I'm only using a Vogue and then I'm using Chaos right on top of it.
Vogue and Chaos is an alright combination. It's basically the same as wearing neither, but you get the bonuses, which is good. Because, and here's the because, so similarly, wearing 1 piece of Vogue gets you back down to 0, right? Because I'm taking +4 status, and I have 4 resistance from my 1 piece of Vogue, which is 0, right? That, because 0 hasn't surpassed the -1, which is the bottom marker, it's actually no different than if you just took 4, because I'm between -1 and 5. Remember, you gotta keep this in your head. Think of the scale in your mind. Below -1, you're more resistant. Beyond +5, you're more vulnerable. Anything in the middle is kind of the base fire. and it only varies slightly between those, like I said, 1%. So, if you wear 1 piece of VOG, you're at 0, which means you're still in the middle zone. 4 and 0 are in the middle zone. It's hardly a difference. You take the same number of fire ticks, and the damage differs by 4%. So, because there's 4 difference between 4 and 0, you guys. But, now here's the but. Get a fire low UV, or a fire low UV, because a low UV is a 1, on your VOG, on your single piece of VOG. And that gives your VOG 5 resistance, right? The 4 that it inherently has, plus 1 more. That will get you into the -1, which will drop it by 12 to 25%. So, if you have just 1 piece of VOG by itself that you're wearing as armor, and just trying to run FSC, it's no different. And don't think that it's going to offer you fire resistance. It's not going to offer you hardly anything. Get a fire low UV on it, and then you're golden. That's the difference. I hope that makes sense. So you can if you have just 1 piece of fire-resistant gear, and this only applies to fire, by the way. This does not affect other statuses. This is just fire. Other statuses work differently, and we will get to them over time. So get below that -1, which means because most enemies deal +4 status, that means you want at least 5 points of resistance, which is 1 piece of armor plus a low UV. And you don't want to have any resistance or you will burn for a bunch. If you have 1 piece of resistance, do what Snakes is doing, and have 1 piece of resistance as well with your vulnerability, so I'm taking 4, and if I have Chaos and VOG, that's 4 minus a -2, which is 6. 6 is bad, but then I add 4 back to it because of my VOG, and I'm back in that middle zone. So that's solid. If you have a VOG or Divine Veil or Mantle or anything that has fire resistance that also has a fire UV, you are golden. You can use that by itself and not have to worry about a second piece of fire resistance. I'm looking to get a fire low on my Volcanic Demo Helm as we speak. That's fire.
I have one question right here. It's not really a topic on this, but it's mostly about VOG. The VOG coat. Shouldn't there really be mostly a freezer system because you're actually wearing fire stuff on you? Shouldn't there be a freeze resistance?
I suppose yes.
It's exactly my UV I have on my VOG. It's freeze high or freeze medium. I don't remember.
Nice. Yeah, in theory it should be, but then again, it is Spiral Knights, and the Spiral Knights hardly has logic. Like, what's a Polaris and how does it work? I don't know. You can't explain that.
And it's the bullets not even compact into the side.
How can you store 4 blitz needles on your person invisibly? How do wheels work? Greenlink says, yeah. Things like, how come when I lay down a Shiver Mist Buster and I'm burning, how come I don't put myself out? That would make sense. It's just kind of
I'm thinking more how to do something.
I don't know. Another thing
I would think that with the weaponry, it would work similarly to how the things work in Borderlands 2. We just have the ability to digitally construct our weaponry when we need it, based on what we have equipped to our personal armor set at the moment.
That makes sense. Though, I kind of don't want to... We could make that a discussion. It would be horribly awful and boring about the philosophy. Let's talk about the philosophy of Spiral Knights and try to explain some of its biggest, unrealistic problems.
Starting to lag out.
It's in space. Just go with it. Now, the Fang of Vogue deals self-fire that's stronger than +8. The status is stronger than +8. Remember how we said that most enemies deal +4? Mm-hmm. Remember how we said that +4 cannot be resisted completely? It just doesn't work? By implication, Fang of Vogue deals +8, which is much stronger, and you cannot ever resist self-fire from Fang of Vogue. No matter how much fire resistance you have, you will burn, and you will burn for a bunch. It's actually kind of significant. So Fang of Vogue charging, risky, sometimes it's worth the risk, and we'll talk about why it's worth the risk in just a second here. But also to be aware, damage bonus for swords increases the amount of self-fire damage you take. Okay? It also increases the duration, obviously. So the worst idea in the world is to run around thinking, oh, Chaos will give me charge time reduction. Let me use the Fang of Vogue. And let me tell you why that's the dumbest idea in the world. Because not only do you have a -4 fire resistance, because Chaos plus Chaos is -2 plus -2, which will make your fire damage that you're dealing, like, not actually worse, but does not help you whatsoever. It also has a damage bonus of very
Very high.
No, yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you. I'm just like, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It has a thing of very high. Same thing with if you have a Black Cat Cal plus Chaos, that's ultra damage. You add your Barbarous Thorn Shield, you are going to kill yourself very quickly.
I know you can just because I already know that you made some videos of this on, was it Impressional? What was it called again? Your
Spiral Knight's Impractical.
Yeah, Impractical. You could also just link the show notes to that website too on your YouTube channel.
Probably should. Probably will. I am going to actually do this. I think it's a great idea. I might even do it. You know what we should do after the show? Let's go ahead and make an Impractical video, like with 3 other people. I'll get 3 other people.
Yay, my plan worked. I was trying to do that.
Yeah?
I can go in on that if you need me to.
Yeah,
Sure.
if I don't lag out in the next 2 hours, then I could.
All it is, and we just need one more person. All we need to do is get everyone, and all we'll do is we'll play a level, or a set of levels, we'll get into the arcade maybe, and just try to win the game with, like, full Chaos, Black Cat Cal's damage bonus, as much damage bonus as we can get, and only Fang of Vog charges. And we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't actually have any pieces of Chaos. The only thing I have is a Black Cat Cow. I have the Fang of Vog, of course, but...
I don't have the Fang of Vog. I only have... Yeah, I do have Skulver, and then I do have Chaos.
I was about to say, do you have Skulver? Or Snarblax?
No, I don't have Snarblax. That's like the one... Because I remember I still haven't did the Shed run.
If you have... We could do multiple runs of this. I'd be happy to do this with people, and we'll just see how it works, because I'd imagine that we'd all die. I'd assume that we'd burn to death, but I'm not quite sure. But that's a thing. So that's us burning. That's actually a really good idea. You guys can look for that coming possibly to a youtube.com/SclayElite channel near you. That should be fun.
I know the name. Let us burn. Let us burn.
Let us burn.
Lattice burn, Sclay. I did an episode, you guys know, a while back called Kill It With Fire, where we killed the Apocryphal Harvester with fire damage. And now
How'd that go?
It worked well. I won. I killed it with fire damage. It was great. He literally burned to death, and we killed the Apocryphal Harvester with fire. It was beautiful.
And then it came back to life.
It did, but I ran for the elevator and got out and was pretty happy. But instead of calling it Kill It With Fire, it would be Kill Us With Fire.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to end the call and come back in because my thing is lagging like a pain.
Same with me. I might have to do the same thing. My thing is lagging a lot.
I don't know why it's bugging out. I've got the things that I usually have up, and it usually doesn't do this.
Yeah, the only person that's lagging for me, it's mostly Black who's lagging for me.
Yeah.
It might be me then. I will go ahead and hang up and recall you guys then. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, be right back. And in the meantime, we can convert to talk to Zhang, add people, snakes.
I'm hoping this ends up being better because, honestly, just don't want more lag issues.
Huh. I don't know why that would
better.
be. Let's see. Technical difficulties with the Arsenal podcast. There was no way to get around it. Thank you for calling it, Isaac Cube.
There's always technical difficulties.
There's always Alright, so we talked about burning ourselves with fire. Last thing I want to talk about is burning enemies with fire in PvE, because that's mostly what we do, right? We burn enemies with fire.
We set fire to innocent creatures that are trying to escape our wrath.
Right.
Though I still hold true that the creatures that live on Cradle are actually just manifestations of the swarm created by them visiting other planets and consuming them and them using them.
It could be true.
That's what I stand by.
Speculation.
Sure, why not, right? So when you light an enemy on fire, actually if you light on fire or anytime something burns, okay, instantly upon taking on the fire status, they take their first tick of fire damage. That's the first tick. So if I burn someone and it calculates out to be 0, right, the middle, where they burn for 4 ticks, you'll actually see 3 numbers come off of them, and then they'll get better. Why is that? I thought it should be 4. Well, because the first one came right when they lit on fire. So what that means is that if you keep Ash of Agnying over and over and over again and just keeping the entire battlefield hazed with fire, because if you stand in a haze, your status will refresh itself. The same way if you stand in Griever Shock, you'll see your number, it'll be like 8 seconds of shock, 8 seconds, it'll like refresh itself. Same thing happens with fire, and every time it refreshes itself, it takes a new tick of damage, and you can like stack these ticks on top of each other. So if you use multiple Ash of Agnies, it's better than one Ash of Agni because they burn more and they burn faster. So actually don't tell off your friends who's setting down Ash of Agnies all over the place. Like, dude, he's already on fire, he's already burning, just leave him. No, he's actually helping you. So
wait, do status stack? Do they stack on each other? Like, by that I mean, like, can you have like the 2 Ash of Agnies, do they stack on each other?
I think you can have that initial tick happen over and over again, but no, if I light someone on fire like 5 times, it's not like he'll be taking tick, 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 tick from all 5.
Yeah, I know that happens with shock a lot, because like, once you get hit by the shock status a lot.
But to answer your question, no, it doesn't stack, necessarily. What was that saying?
If the target that you're setting on fire is poisoned, do they take more damage from the fire as it stacks?
That is a good question. Let me answer that. Damage bonus and damage reduction do not affect fire damage. That means that chaos does not increase the fire damage you deal, and being poisoned doesn't reduce it either. So, fire damage is unaffected by any of those.
I'm guessing the only thing that would increase that damage is depending on if it's
Uh-oh. I'm lag
weak,
cutting.
medium, or strong fire status.
Yes, that's what makes the difference, because weak, medium...
Now we got robot saying now.
Weak, medium, and strong status, actually what that translates to is those numbers on the scale. So,
well, whenever I'm in tier 3 and I get hit by something that sets me on fire, I usually take like 2 or 3 pips. In tier 2, it's usually 2 solid, and in 1, it's just the 1. So,
right, and the amount of damage you take obviously scales with how far you are on the clockworks and that kind of. With that kind of thing too. Obviously, the clear strategy for fighting enemies with fire is light an enemy on fire, then move on to other enemies. If you're not doing the Ash of Agni thing I just talked about, let an enemy burn for its full 4 to 9 seconds, depending on what its resistance is. But how do I know what its resistance is? It's not like we can inspect enemies and see their fire. No, but we can count how long they burn for. So you look at ice cubes, which are the jellies that have the ice spikes coming out of them. They have a negative 6.5. Okay, so that is a lot. That means
because they burn for 6.
Now, the scale is negative 6.5, so how you would translate that is, say my combustor deals +4, and you subtract the defense. You take the attack and subtract the defense. So 4 minus a negative 6.5 is positive 10.5. And of course, we talked about how status is maxed out at 8. But that means Ice Cube burns for the full 8, which means he burns for 5 seconds and takes lots of damage, and because 8 is, of course, above that +5 mile marker. Zombies and lichens being the yellow ones that fuse, have a negative 5, so they burn really well too. Lumbers, the orange lichen colonies, the jellies, which are the purple ones, toxigels, which are the green jellies, they all have negative 2.5. So
I don't know lumbers have -5. They're wood, for Christ's sake.
They burn, because they're wood.
But they should burn better.
They
only burn
better.
for -2.5. They should be burning for like the same amount that the zombies and lichens burn with, at least.
Oh, well, I guess.
The logic of this game is broken.
He burns a lot, but he should burn more.
It's only -2.5. He should be burning. He should be burning for more. He's made of wood and metal. They both burn.
It should be a -8, so that no matter what you do, you're dealing the maximum amount of fire.
Well, it would make sense.
It kind of would. Most things obviously have 0 resistance, and this actually includes the giant lichen colonies, the big red, purple, pink ones that where they all fuse together. Which means if you're going to be Ash of Agnying or fighting jellies with fire damage, it's best to keep them separated because, again, yellow is -5, orange is -2.5, and so as they fuse together and get bigger and bigger, they get more and more fire resistant. That's the conclusion you can get from that.
And it becomes less and less more
Effective.
positive. Yeah.
Yep. Mechanites, Chromalisks, the beasts, obviously the lizards, they all have a plus 2.5. So if I have my combustor, which is 4, minus 2.5, I'm left with 1.5, which is definitely more moderate. And it's in that negative 1 to 5 range, which is not the same as the 8 for ice cubes. Now,
It seems kind of odd, since Mechanites are weak to elemental damage.
it does. Mechanites, and we'll talk about them when we get to the other statuses too, but Mechanites are very balanced. They have like a plus 2 or a plus 3 to almost every status. They're very resistant to statuses, which
This
makes-
is why I'm glad that I just beat them senseless with Betty.
There you go. Chop that metal up. All gremlins...
Because chopping metal works. The amount of force I would have to put behind Betty to be able to cut through metal would be ridiculous.
Yeah, how strong would be dark matter?
Both of those are good questions, but I would like to make the point that Zhang can chop metal in half, because that's what happens when Mechanites die. So congratulations, you're a strong
Yes.
man. All
I am
gremlins
strong.
/ flex, right?
Yes.
/ Zangrius likes being strong. All right, all gremlins.
Angrius kills all creatures in his way.
Yep.
Oh my god, I was
Angrius
just
is
reminded of Vocaloids. God damn.
So
now what? Sangru. What the? Oh, is there another web? It looks like there's another move. Cause what does is there a slag? Is there a move where the slag can bite? Come up to you and grab on top of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
all the
never knew
zombies
that.
have that.
I never knew
It's,
that.
it's an odd technique, really, because here's the thing about that. It only happens, it's like a once-in-a-blue moon thing you'll ever see, really. And it only happens if you're, and just forgive me for saying this, if you're dumb enough to stand and take a zombie knee to the face. Because
Yes.
there's a 1 in maybe 3 or 4 chances that they will latch onto you. And once they latch onto you, you can't move, and they will bite you. But the thing is, the bite either doesn't do damage for some reason, I don't know why, or it does do damage and it kills you in like 2 bites.
All right, let me add my 2 cents to this. It seems to be, and we're talking about when the zombies jump at you, of course, when they're far away and they lunge at you and hit you either on the way. They seem to grab onto you best when you're at the very end of their jump. If you're standing at the very end of their jump, that's when it seems like they will latch onto you. If you're kind of standing halfway and they brush past you and do damage, I don't see them ever latch onto you. The other thing is, I don't actually see the bite, the quote-unquote bite, doing damage either. It seems like the damage that's taken is from the other zombies that are standing around attacking you because you can't move and are standing still.
Well, I think before some of the other updates or changes to the game, it was doing damage. I think now it's just them kind of clinging to you and forcing you to stay where you are. So it kind of works like a freeze status, except for the fact that it's basically indefinite unless you can either knock it off or someone else can come and help you.
Exactly. So,
Or unless you
yes,
get hit by another zombie, because then I think it knocks it off.
it doesn't actually. You have to stay there the whole time. I've had full health, get into Firestorm Citadel, 1 zombie latches onto me, and there's like 3 more, and they keep swinging, and suddenly no more health.
Yeah, like I love the animation when they're trying to eat you when they're glitching right then. I never knew that would happen. That was so awesome.
Like when they're latched onto you and they're just biting, that does absolutely no damage. It's literally just them pinning you down so the other zombies can beat
Yeah,
you.
Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Drink, drink, drink.
Don't startle the witch.
Well,
Well, I can kill her in one shot. Oh, I can do that.
All right, I would like to point
oh no,
one thing
I got
out.
pinned down by a hunter.
Left 4
I
Dead
got pulled
podcast.
through the window.
The boomers vomited on me.
It's so good if you get like a second. If you get a second, vomit on.
So
Maybe the
would
third.
Spiral Knights ever have zombie mode, like literal zombie mode, where they came
Like-
in
No, that
hordes
has to be a
and
new
you
game that has to
fight
be a
off
new game.
zombies?
That would essentially have to be a survival mode. That could actually be like a secondary game, like in King
Yeah, because
Cosmos.
you have 4 people.
Like a
You
co-op.
have 4 people in one round.
I'd have fun with a co-op with boost like zombies that have buffed
Like,
health.
Here's
and,
what I
like,
would. Yeah, here's what I would
totems
see. as
spawn
a-
around, and you're like, no, not the totems.
Here's what I would
when
see
is
as
people
a.
just going to come into this?
Here's what I would see as like that working as a game. Instead of 4 people, you can have like a group of 4 as the minimum, but you can also have a group of 8 as the maximum. And what happens is essentially every time you put down a zombie, 2 spawn in its place. 2 essentially spawn up, and you have to keep killing them and killing them. And you get points for every single kill you make, and as the game progresses, you get more points for each kill. But once you guys die, those points are added up, and you get like a particular reward based on how many points you collected.
Well, that's kind of the same thing as the achievements and the little thing that show on the end of when you get a safe house when it tells you what good or what rank you are. Like saying that you're like a most survived person.
You can either, for the reward, you can either get like a particular random piece of equipment or item or something, or you can get like a token that you can spend for something. Maybe that'll make Krogma tokens a bit more fun to get, because at least that way it's not people yelling at other people about auto target.
Okay, all you have to do is sit over here. I'm just taking this from the other podcast. Wait, you just have to sit over here, and you just shoot them with the face gun, and
Yeah, I could see it being where everyone's armor reduces to a base and you upgrade it, like Zhang is saying, or maybe you buy UVs or something like that. That would be fun.
Yeah. We already have the reduced armor to a base.
And besides, we need more. In my honest opinion, we need something more co-op based in King Krogma's Coliseum, because I'm tired of checking out Tumblr and seeing people screaming in lockdown about people using auto target because they think it boosts the ability of people playing around them. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It kind of doesn't, but as Third Wing just pointed out, and I was about to say, auto target plus the hammer actually significantly increases the accuracy of the hammer dash, and it gets.
And that's
nasty.
why I hate you, Lat.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on from there. I said something, and I want to re-point it out because it holds some significance. I said cats have a +5 resistance. So if I have a combustor, right? Again, a combustor is a +4, minus the 5 is -1. -1 goes beyond. It's on that bottom side of the resistant. They have good resistance. Cats have good resistance against fire. So that means, remember that Scarlet Fortress level where you have to throw fire pots at the cats that are across the gaps from you?
That now I know why that takes forever. Holy crap!
That takes forever. So if you get that level,
you have to throw like a dozen pots at each of them.
Yep. So what that means is, go bring a gun, please, because the fire pots.
An elemental gun would be preferred,
of course. You can win the game with the Polaris. All right, so how do I deal the most fire damage to enemies? Well, actually, surprisingly, Ultra Fire Vials and Barriers inflict a +6 fire status. That's actually really strong. That's stronger than any weapon. Super Fire Vials and Barriers, the tier 2 ones, are +5. So they're actually useful in certain cases. Pardon?
Okay, never mind. It was like a little noise, and I thought like I heard blues just like bow something. Someone's mic inside my game. Like someone's like watching blues right now. What?
Nice.
Oh my god!
You just totally went there. All right, I would like to remind you though that weakness caps at 8. So what that means is, if I throw a Ultra Fire Vial at an ice cube, there's not much to it. Like,
that thing's probably just gonna burn on its own. That problem will solve itself. That's
overkill because it caps at 8. If you chuck it at a cat, on the other hand, so that's a +6 minus the +5 for cats, and that's a 1. 1 brings it inside that middle barrier where it takes an extra tick of burn damage. So that's where it's effective. If you got a room with a bazillion cats, chuck them fire vials. That's good. All strong statuses where you see strong, that's +4. So Combustor is a +4 fire. Tier 1 fire vials and barriers are a +4 fire. Fang of Vog Charge is a +4 fire. So, well, Fang of Vog Charge is like, it confers +4, but it's really +8 because you can't resist it. But hey,
it is unresistible. It is irresistible. I can't talk.
Irresistible.
If you have a moderate status, that's a +2. So Furious Flamberge, Fang of Vog combo, so just swinging it normally. Magma Driver, Volcanic Pepper Box, all those kinds of things are +2. Also interesting to note, Volcanic Pepper Box is actually kind of good at dispensing fire. In the event that you come to an ice cube level, and you, for some reason, don't have any other reason, or just want some fun, bring a Volcanic Pepper Box with you if you've bothered to make one, because I have a 2 here, 2 damage, minus the Ice Cube 6.5, pushes it all the way to 8, the same as any other weapon. So you can just... The Volcanic Pepper Box is like the fire-administering shotgun. It's the flamethrower.
Yeah, so essentially, it'll indefinitely set the ice cubes on fire.
Not indefinitely, but it's a good way to apply fire.
And you can freeze back.
It's like the Pyro's flamethrower, except...
Flamethrower! And one move.
They stay on fire for 9 seconds if you Volcanic Pepper Box them and they light on fire. That's the in and out of it. Ash of Agni, if you have like slight fire, or slight status, that's 0. And don't forget that 0 still causes status, it just doesn't contribute to the final number. And here's what I mean by that, because the Ash of Agni is 0. So what I mean by that is if I Ash of Agni and Ice Cube, 0, it deals 0 status. Does that mean it deals no status? No, of course not. Ash of Agni lights things on fire. What that means is it's just, you start at 0, and then take that minus negative 6.5, which is 6.5, which is still strong, it's just not as strong as the Combustor. But it just deals, you just take the 0 and subtract. So Ash of Agni on cats is 0 minus 5, which is negative 5, which is good resistance for cats. Lastly, in the case that you have a Dracon, just listen carefully. If you have a maxed Firebolt, you're going to be dealing +3 fire. A maxed Flame Barrier deals +0.5 fire. And maxed Firestorm deals a +1.5 fire. So, that's fire for you. Now, you guys are going to fire me as a host, right? For just being awful like
No, we had the first Fire Lord hood, then uprank it. Well, Fire Cronius and Fire Cloud. And
it hurts. The puns.
this. Does it burn?
You're not fighting
It burned!
Lat.
Well, there's a lot of hot air in here. Okay, we're done. I'm not...
That's what she said.
Thank you to Zeddy for all of the info. It was really appreciated. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and you will continue to hear me repeat these kinds of things on and on and on from now in Spiral Knights Impractical. We do have a transmutation this time, and we have some people to talk about it, so let's go to that. Transmutations. Alright, so Transmutations is where we talk about what we want to see added to the game of Spiral Knights, and Blither Paladin, also known as Blither Phaladin, ever since I called him that in joke a few episodes ago.
Hey, loud bitches.
Yeah. That was
SnakesS17!
Thing happened. Bad thing happened. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway.
Swamped-themed levels. No, it was because Paladin said in the, he said in the chat, he said it's the Arsenal Boar cast. And so I called him Blither Phaladin, and that was it. Which, you know...
Aw, he doesn't like it, I think.
he doesn't. It's not actually nice.
We'll try some more.
But
Well, the Arsenal Boarcast isn't exactly nice either.
Exactly. So, playful, joking, eye for an eye. But Blither Paladin, he suggested swamp-themed levels. And so this would feature 2 main things. So, like, you know, you have your compounds and your jelly levels. So this is like a beastish themed kind of levels, because all the beast levels admittedly do seem super generic. And you'd have these mud pools, which reduce your movement speed while you walk through them. And so mud pools reduce your movement speed, and also like little mini rabid snarblaxes is kind of the idea. That can be just straight up damage, but they've got the same... But they can fling spikes at you like the Snarblax is the idea, and they're just smaller versions, and you don't need a bell to kill them. But what it is while you're slogging through the mud, these guys are chucking spikes at you, and it makes it inconvenient.
Snar babies.
Yes! So cute.
I think it would be kind of fun to have that kind of swamp-themed levels.
Yeah.
I don't see that as... I would welcome that.
Well, there obviously has to be an explanation for a mini Snarblax. They're the offspring. They're the offspring of the Snarblax that already exist.
Yeah, pretty much. And they haven't
Which is
grown
odd
their...
because if that goes by the manifestation thing that I'm talking about, where the swarm essentially manifests all the creatures except for what's his name? Lord Vanaduke, because Lord Vanaduke is just that kind of guy. Because things. I guess the swarm was capable of making it so that they could breed?
Well, you know,
Logic?
gremlins breed, according to...
Oh yeah, they have kids. They
Yeah.
use their kids in battle too, so honestly this probably wouldn't be that surprising anyway.
Yeah. Also,
Bring on the Snar babies.
I would like to clarify something, and I say this in half jest, but I kind of believe it. And I don't actually know if the lore has something to say about the gender of the Snarblacks or not, but Third Wing says, "Who's the mom then for the mini Snarby?" And I say, Snarblacks is female. Duh.
Well, rabbit Snarblacks, there's two of them. You don't know if one of them is male or female.
In all honesty, when you think about it, it's more likely than not that the Snarblacks that we fight in the Roisterous... In the...
Roisterous Ruins.
No,
Gloaming
I'm trying
Wildwoods.
to remember Huh?
Gloaming Wildwoods.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Gloaming Wildwoods. It's most likely that she is female because she's fairly protective of the forest.
Yep.
And most people would probably assume, well, that's a male because he's being dominant because it's his territory. No. Most of the animals that are killed there are beasts. And considering the fact that the Snarblacks is a beast itself, it's most likely just trying to protect the forest, and it assumes that it, along with the other beasts, assume that we're trying to cause havoc in the forest, and ergo they attack us.
You make a very convincing point, sir. I like that explanation. Though it could be completely just instantly refuted if a recon modular says the he Snarblacks as opposed to the it or she Snarblacks.
True,
So.
but I don't think any recon module at this point has already done that. And most things call it, so I'm going to stick with calling Snarby a she, because I can.
I agree with you. Now, I would like to comment on the swamp-themed levels, by the way, and just say, in general, the worst part about levels for me are the times when they reduce my movement speed, i.e. like underwater levels where I'm swimming really slowly or slogging through the mud in, say, a Pokemon game or something like that. I don't like those. It's like, this is just annoying. So that might be the one thing for swamp-themed levels, but...
Well, maybe what you could do with these little swamp pools is... you could use your dodge, your jump thing, to be able to, like, jump over the pools.
Yeah.
Or you could use your shield bash to, like, glide over the pools.
That could be
so
a
that
thing
way you
too.
have a means of getting around them.
Yeah.
And the slowdown of the movement speed can't probably be that significant. Maybe, like, you get... Like, I'm trying to consider, like, what the highest point of movement speed is based on, the fact that you get, like, movement speed lows from different things.
Well, we already know that we can get max already.
You can get...
Yeah.
Yes, you can hit max for just a few seconds by Swift Steps 2 on your Sprite, plus 2 movement speeds for your armoreds, like Mercurial Demo, plus the Flame Barrier that increases your movement speed for Dracon. That'll put you at max.
So then maybe it puts you down, like, it decreases you by a low rating, maybe? Like how the,
I'm inclined to think that it's about the speed that you walk when you're charging a gun, where you're kind of just taking full steps, which is about a movement speed decrease of, I'm thinking high, because you can still run you can run fast enough with full Ancient Plate, which is movement speed medium, so... Huh.
So that would make sense. It could work.
Yeah.
Most likely.
And I could see, like, bombs and spikes hiding underneath, barely visible underneath the
I
mud,
would actually not like that. That would probably be taking it a bit too far. Unless you had a signal that said that the swamp was about to, like, eject spikes and you could actually get off in time.
I guess, yeah. Or you can still hear the spikes, like anything in the... If you covered the left room in the first level of the Royal Jelly Palace with mud, and you could just see the tips of the spikes barely coming out, and you just gotta pay attention more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll give you this.
It'd be all about timing.
Yeah. I would accept swamp-themed levels enthusiastically.
Yeah. But if the only enemies that were there were the Snar babies... and this was like a completely set up different level. What would the boss of this setup be?
I'm not sure it would be. It'd be kind of like, you know how you have the jelly themed levels, which have the certain...
And wouldn't these replace the Gloaming Wildwoods? Then?
No, not really.
No.
I see it like you have Wolver levels, you have Compound levels, you have Arena levels. These things that just randomly show up. You have Scarlet Fortress levels and. All the different types of levels that are there, you just add the swamp.
This kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. They did this with they did that with some of the boss creatures. They basically miniaturized them and turned them into common monsters in some of the levels.
Alright. Well, if a swamp happens, I won't be against it. How's that? We won't be against it.
Yeah, it would be an entertaining thing to see.
And of course there'd be bushes all over the place, and the tile set would be cool, and there'd be like the poison music or something, and I could see the poison chromalisks joining the party and that kind of thing too.
Viral lists, I think they're called.
Yeah, that's it. Alright, well,
I hate them. Actually, no, I hate the freeze ones more than anything. On a scale of my most hated statuses, I think freeze tops, followed by shock, fire, poison tops, followed by freeze, shock, and then fire.
There you
I
go.
hate freeze. Out of them all,
Freeze is nasty.
Freeze is evil, especially if you get frozen by the
Silver
Devilites. No, the Devilites.
Devilites. Okay.
Because then they'll
What about
just
the
keep
lumbers?
pelting. No, I can handle getting frozen by the lumber because their next attack usually knocks me away. With the Devilites, it's almost always them tossing snowballs at me and freezing me in place every single time, so I can't get away.
So on a scale of 1 to Gorgos, how much do you hate Heart of Ice? I say that hypothetically. Hypothetically.
Well, I've said already that
Yes, you did. So you don't even have to answer.
Heart
it,
of
that's
Ice is actually to me the easiest one. But I think that probably equates to the fact that I'm usually smart enough to target the Devilites right away. Like immediately in my mind, when I see those little guys, I'm just like, "You're gonna die. You're the first one that will go down." And
Right.
I make sure to kill them as quickly as I possibly can, so that then they can't freeze me. And that the only thing I have to worry about when it comes to freeze is the Frostifers. Plus,
Wow.
the mini boss at that level is probably the easiest one. So if you just stay next to him and keep hitting him, you can beat him without him even moving.
Yep, I completely agree. Well, you are a smart person, and speaking of smart, let's look at some art. Bumper. Spiral Order Recon.
The punniest episode of Personal Podcast there ever was.
Jesus.
So far. Some art. Yes, this is Spiral Order Recon. I can speak. Spiral Order Recon, where we talk about Spiral Knights related media. Yes. Once again, it's worth mentioning, if you go to twitch.tv/button_mash, you can check out the videos on demand and see the Clockworks for Charity stream that happened, and listen to talk about Clockworks copycats and collaborations and all sorts of fun stuff. The one thing, it's actually been a quiet week in the art world for Spawn Nights this week. The one thing that we did want to feature is this emerging artist Shibinu, and you can find, I want to say her, but I'm not positive, at shibinu.tumblr.com, and just has some...
Get this person. on the show so that we know whether or not if we should call him or her a he or a she.
We'll just call her should be Snarlax until we figure it out.
We'll just use this person's name because that way it's not.
Yeah. But just pumped
But
out.
I gotta say, this is very nice artwork.
Oh.
It is.
I need to collect 500 CE and get some art done by this person because I'm still waiting on a decent picture from it.
Well, just so you know,
have I told you guys? I actually gave out 400 CE a while back for somebody to draw a picture of me. I sent them pictures of myself and everything, and I'm still 500. Yeah, I'm 400 energy out, and I still don't have a picture of myself.
That's lame.
Yeah, I know.
And now the third's gonna look on you on like some other site.
Not
stuff.
that I could really use that 400 energy for anything else, really, other than if I was going to get more Sparks of Life, because unfortunately, I am currently down to 19 of them because I fail in the clockwork successively.
Fail!
Right. So all of the links to, well, the 3 main art pieces will be in the show notes as per usual. That's kind of about it. Once again, it's a quiet time, but there's a bunch of cauldrons bubbling. And there is one that I want to mention that is more immediate, and this is not something that I've talked about yet. Among the other Spiral Knights parodies, we are looking to do, as we did last year, a round of, like, quote-unquote, parodized Christmas carols set with Spiral Knights lyrics. So let me check, but O Little Town of Bethlehem, Away in a Manger, and Grandma Just Got Run Over by a Reindeer were the ones that we did last year.
Okay.
We want we want 3 more this year, and we're a month out. Well, a month and a week out. So here's the thing. If you want to submit a concept, that's the word I'm looking for a song, and say, hey, this would fit with these words. And it can be something podcast related, it can be something Spiral Knights related, it could even be something that's relevant to something that's just happened. Like we had... What's the one that we had we were talking about? It was something about freeze and poison, and we were going to make a Christmas carol out of it. What song was that?
It was Winter Wonder. The Clockwork's getting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Winter Wonderland.
How does that one start?
I don't know.
I'm not going to be a good singer.
So here's the thing. The one thing that
I can't believe I can't remember how that song starts.
I never knew my Barber Storm blade has slide maximum on me.
That's a troll. So if you have a way to convert the song to Spiral Knightsy or Arsenal Podcasty kinds of things, you email us, contact us, let us know about your idea. If we use your idea, we will pay you for it. That's the factor. I will pay you £10,000. So there's some incentive. If we use your idea, one thing that we are doing, and this is not for pay, is the 12 Days of Winterfest. These were lyrics that we wrote last year. Mainly Kelnox and I did. Kelnox of Adventure is Delicious and other such things. And we're going to do that, but we're going to do that as a collaboration with a bunch of people. So we've got, like, the music track, and we got the lyrics. And so what we're going to have people do is someone's going to claim a 12 something, whatever it is, 3 golden rings, that kind of thing, and everyone's going to have one. And we're going to put it together and credit everybody for it. So if you're interested in that, we have the lyrics, and go ahead and contact us. Let us know. This is something we're going to be talking about, these Christmas songs. We're going to be talking about from here till it actually happens, and we play them all for you.
Yeah, so we do like a little giveaway on stuff, items too.
Pardon?
Giveaway on like some items that we don't really need that often, and we can just put away.
Well, if you have those items, I'd be happy for you to give them away. I, at the moment, don't, so there you go. Yeah, that's basically about it. And, we'll go ahead and push our Bizarre Banter discussion to next week, because it's that time to wrap up the cast. So, once again, if you have... Sure, I will read what we have for the 12 Days of Winterfest, if I can find it. Someone else talk about something. Yeah, there it is. I see it. All right. So 12 days of Winterfest sounds. I was gonna say something. Someone talk about it. Is on the 12th day of Winterfest. The Arsenal gave to me 12 places to talk to the hosts, including Facebook.com/The Arsenal Podcast, Twitter, Arsenalcast, at Lordhood, Steam, The Arsenal Podcast. That's like it's a big run, and it'll because it's the last one. So, 12 places to talk to the Arsenals. 11 listener submissions. 10. It's on the 12th day of Winterfest. The Arsenal gave to me is how this works. So 11 listener submissions. 10 fan art. What? Stop it! Computer derping on me. Come back, please. Come back.
No, you said it was derping on you, and now you get
11 listener submissions. 10 fan art drawings. 9 Wolvers gnashing. 8 Knights of slashing. 7 cheaping snipes. 6 awesome guests. 5 million crowns. 4 requests for modding, 3 golden rings, 2 transmutations, and a live stream recording with lag. That's the 12 days of Winterfest for you. So, if you want to get in on it, all 3 hosts are going to be part of it, I assume. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, since it's our project. Mm-hmm. And there you go. So, unique variants, bizarre banter discussion coming next week, so...
Ladies and gentlemen, your unique variants.
Alright, Green Link asks a question real fast. No, but you've never actually received modding requests, have you? No, this is what the Arsenal gave to you, is how the song goes, and we used to say a lot. I guess maybe we could change that line, because we used to say a lot, give us an API, give us a way to, like, code mods for Sparrow Knights, is what we were talking about a long time ago. We'll probably change that one. It's the whole thing's subject to change. That's what it was from last year, so.
I think to be able to effectively acquire the ability to do useful modding, we would have to become excessively close friends with one of the GMs, and unfortunately, none of us are on good terms with any of them. Well, not exactly, not good terms per se, but close terms.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because a lot of them are actually really, really, really nice people.
They really are. We said last year when we were talking about modding a lot, and we mentioned it every week kind of thing, we said it'll never happen. Like, among all of the transmutations we have, this will be the one that never ever happens, because it just doesn't work for MMOs. But, I still, a man can hope. We had an impromptu...
They've made mods for Skyrim. I don't know why they can't make mods for this game.
Because Skyrim is single player only. You can't mod an MMO unless it's client-side only mods, which I made one, but those break the terms of service, so you can't quite do that.
Oh.
Anyways, we held an impromptu hashtag contest last week because of all the hashtags that were going up in the chat, and we only actually got one official submission from Blazergun, who said, hashtag you're stupid, your ideas are stupid, no one likes you. Anyways.
Well, your ideas don't matter, actually.
Well, don't be mean.
See how many... Now, for like a little extra thing, try and see how many other words you can actually find in this, because I've found like maybe 4 or 5 other words that are not actually supposed to be a part of the actual statement.
Yeah, when you string it all together...
I see dandy, I see rest,
I see rest,
I see rides, I see ride, I see
Well, while he's looking for more 10k crowns coming your way, Blazergun. In other words, if we hold a contest,
I see rest twice. Rest is twice in there.
Yes, indeed. It's worth joining in. Do we have a contest we could host for this week? Some random thing? Nah.
Give me my stuff right now.
I'm gonna.
All right. Well, that really is it. It's the end of episode 56. So we're getting a move on. You guys climbing towards 100. That's fun. Shout out to Maroka of
It's like
Button
trying
Mash.
to level up. It's like trying to level up your sprite. It's a slow, agonizing process.
It's like we just knocked out another one, but there's still so many to go.
Yes.
And hopefully it'll be a fun ride getting there.
It probably will.
Maroka shout out of Button Mash for the Clockworks for Charity stream raised £190 for charity, British pounds, not exactly sure the number, but
Well, hopefully they're British pounds and not American pounds, because if you gain 150 American pounds, I think you have some problems.
wrong unit, wrong. Yuck. Also, happy birthday to Reaper of the pod. He's been around
Happy
here
birthday.
before.
I need him. I need contact with him. I'm trying to find a way so I can kill you, lads.
That is his birthday today, and this is the one who he played the Filosa Snipes for us for episode 50. He's been on the show multiple times. December of last year, he killed me for my birthday and ended up in a community carol song as Lat just got run over by the Reaper, that Reaper. So, happy birthday to that guy.
I
Anyone
think
else to shout
anyone
out
who's
to?
encountered the Reapers has
Me,
probably been run over
have-
by them.
Actually, I have like 3
Quite
people.
accessible.
They're the 3 people who have been doing my Venom Duke run like 3 times right now. Like a couple, like this whole podcast. It's Arcoloth, Scarlet, and I don't even know how to say this guy, Patinicusuno. I don't know how to say that.
Alrighty then. Anyone for you, Zang?
No, not really. The only one I could give a shout out to would not be a part of Spiral Knights. They'd be a part of Team Fortress 2.
Do it. Do
All
it
right.
now.
Well, last night I had a fairly excessively fun game with these 2 guys, Miller Lite 23 and Mango Matt, and it was a very fun game because unlike what it seemed like the rest of the people were doing, were being trolls and saying that they were acting too seriously in the game, they were having fun. And I was having fun playing with them because even though one of them was on the other team, it was just fun to be able to play with them. So shout out to those guys. I don't know if they actually listen to this, but just saying it.
Probably never will, but don't you love people like that? Anywhere,
Yeah.
in any game?
I want to play Team
Yes.
Fortress right now that you mentioned it. Anyone want to join me?
Huh?
Anyone want to join me on Team Fortress? Because you mentioned it, I want to play now.
My friend, you are on a pre-recorded podcast. Things don't work that way. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about
Everyone
live.
who's
Most
listening
likely
to
we'd be
you,
happy.
just
talk
for
about
future
actually-
reference and for all guests in the future, what people will be listening to are listening to in the future, which means you will not be playing Team Fortress 2 when they listen.
Yes.
Just a heads up, so it's not even worth saying.
Live stream people. I'm trying to
The
be
end of
bad.
episode. That's the end of it. Wait till the end of the episode. It's the end of episode 56. It is the end of the episode, but after the end of the episode, tell a friend about us because that's how we get the word out about the podcast, and it's helpful and fun.
That's how we gain more followers to take over the world.
So, Snakes, if you're in that party with a bunch of guys and you haven't said, hey, I'm on this most recent episode of the Arsenal podcast, which is all about Spiral Knights, and you should totally go listen, then I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I'm going to start calling you as SnakesS17 again. Because this is very serious.
Well, half the people are on.
I'm just fooling. I'm fooling. You can call us at 1-678-322-7765 if you'd like to.
call us.
Someone would be the first one to do it.
Someone already did be the first one.
Well,
Wasn't
2
somebody
people have
already-
called. 2 people called before, but one of them was just like it was when we first. It was like the first day we made the number, and one person was just whining about NJ Thug like in a voice that could not be understood, and the other person was there. It was like for like a few seconds. That was it. So
The Swarm was trying to make contact with us.
Yeah, that always
Hey, the
happens.
Swarm already tried to infect my jelly mail, so that's not.
Yeah,
a
they
surprise.
also already affected, like, what? Did they affect? No, that's not. That's what
you
they
can
do.
email us at arsenal@skullelite.com, which is the other great way to contact us. You can find us on all the social media sites, which include Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Steam. We have 161 members in the Steam group, which is the Arsenal Podcast. You can see all the links and all the episodes and other fun, cool stuff and links in our partner blog, Adventures Delicious, on our website, skullelite.com/arsenal. You can add a /forums to that. There's some cool stuff there. You can give us a review on iTunes if you'd like to subscribe to the podcast. That's 6 episodes behind and counting, but I will get to it one of these days, I promise. And, of course, youtube.com/skullelite. That will be the podcast. That's been, I'll do Zhang's thing and say, that's been Snakes. That's been Zhang.
I
Yeah.
hate you.
I hate you too. It's alright.
That's been SnakesS17. That's been Madison Sclay. And this has been the Arsenal Podcast.
Go,
And
go,
we'll
go, go.
see you guys next time.
Peace out.
That was what I was about to say.
Great minds think alike. That's how it is.
geared up and ready to go? Thanks for listening to The Arsenal, a Spiral Knights podcast. See links and listen to previous episodes on our website, skaleli.com/arsenal. Send comments, questions, and audio to arsenal@skaleli.com or give us a call at 1-678-322-7765.